is Oscar. In our last demo, part one, we actually discussed our admin panel environment for our intelligent document processing and/or IDP solution. In this part two, we're going to be focusing in on our operations manager dashboard, if you will. This is where a manager, whether it's the office manager, the operations manager, logistics manager, clinic manager, etc., he or she will be able to see this dashboard to understand how all of the automations and all the documents that are being processed and plugged into the electronic health record system and/or the enterprise resource planning ERP systems. They'll be able to see how that's happening in real time. Right, so I'm really excited about this part. I think this is something that can be of value to, again, more manager, mid-level type staff that are a part of the organization. So with that said, why don't we go ahead and jump right in? I'm going to share my screen as we did last demo. 1 second, to make sure I can still learn how to share my screen here. All right, let's see. This should be sharing right now. Okay, let's go ahead and dive right on in. And again, I'll jump in as I need to if there's any parts that I need to explain or help to qualify. Okay.
We will see how the operations manager, supervisor, or the shift in charge can monitor and control the various document processing tasks associated with TrueCap Plus. The operations dashboard displays the total number of documents that have been ingested into the system, the stages, the document types, and subtypes. It allows to drill down to the document level. It allows to see the various active users working on the system who are doing the manual verification or human-in-the-loop activity or HITL. You can also see the various notifications which are coming in. This is the operations dashboard, which allows.
Really quickly, a moment ago, our robot just now explained about the human inner loop aspects of our robotic process automation end-to-end solution. Now, what this really means is as errors that may come up, let's say, for example, there's a scanned document and we're not sure if something is a 0 versus an O or something is an L versus a 1, etc. What happens is we can put those into exception reports, and then either the operations manager or the actual processor, if you will, he or she can see whenever those errors are occurring. This happens in very few cases, but when it does happen, we always want to make sure that the manager also sees that we have identified a few exceptions, a few pieces that we weren't clear on what the terminology or the oncology may have been, and that's when our system notifies the operations manager and or floor manager, if you will, at the dashboard level. Okay.
Allows you to drill down to document level. If you drill down, you can see each document, where it is, the remarks and the duration for that job. The operations dashboard allows you to see the user productivity. You can select the time range and see user-wise average time taken for each stage of the document processing and the documents covered per hour. It helps the supervisor to align operations.
Here in this section, this is usually more applicable to if you've got like a throughput timestamp that you've got to get something done within. Oftentimes, perhaps there's, if you are in a logistics type role, there may be some opportunities where your executives are giving you SLAs, right, service level agreements, to where they are requiring that a certain number of documents that are manual be plugged into another system or into a data entry portal. Well, with our solution, what this would essentially do is turn that into seconds for you, right? So where it may take a human perhaps 5 to 10 minutes, if you will, depending on how long and how complex a document is, to do something, our bot actually does that in a matter of seconds. So this is the purpose of this user productivity report is. And again, it's only applicable if you're in a scenario where your throughput is monitored or you have certain SLAs that you must meet.
The QC dashboard allows to select the time range and gives the number of documents processed within the given time, documents that were auto-extracted, what percentage were edited by the user, and what percentage of fields were changed in QC. It also provides a quality trend graph which tells if the accuracy and auto extraction trend is going up or down. Based on that, you can drill down to the field level and check which fields are causing the
So in demo one, when we were talking around the admin panel, I think I made mention, and if I didn't, I want to make sure that it's clear here. Our bots are at a 99.9997% accuracy rating. So from time to time, there may be something, again, if we're not sure if something is a 0 versus an O or a 1 versus an L, et cetera, there may be some of those type of instances. So over here where you see, auto extractions without manual edit. So 99.91% in this particular batch was 180 documents got completed. It was a 99.9% accuracy rating. And of those, the only pieces that had to actually be changed within QC or quality control was only 0.09%. So again, this one's a little bit higher for this particular batch, but in general, we are at a 99.9997% accuracy rating.
problem and correct the ontologies accordingly. The detailed logs for all the documents display who has worked on which document, the stages, and the various functions that were executed. It is very useful for the operations manager. The user allocation allows to assign to the operator various queues, document types and subtypes, and assign users. The monitor shows how the operations manager can check and control the flow of ingestion and export in the system.
Okay, so hopefully this actually made sense to all of you. And again, this is more so designed if you are in a scenario where you got, let's say, management, mid-level management, if you will. They need a dashboard, if you will, to kind of understand throughput, to understand productivity, to ensure that the documentation that needs to be submitted through is meeting the actual SLA. If your operations manager does see a consistent flow of a quality issue, let's say, for example, our bot is constantly confusing a 0 with an O or a 1 with an L. What you can do is you can actually notify me, because again, I'm your boots on the ground. I'm your single throat to choke throughout this entire engagement and beyond. So you would come back to me, you would explain that there's some kind of a discrepancy between the O and the 0 or the L and the 1. And what we would do is we would actually retrain our robot to ensure that they can then determine that the zeros are perhaps the more slender, ones. And then we'll be able to do some additional tweaking to the system to ensure that we can minimize that error within the quality control components. So hopefully that makes sense. So for those of you that would like to kind of have a more streamlined, specialized demo, I'd love to sit down with you. At the bottom of the screen, you should see where our subdomain or our website is located. Visit us at rpa.ndemandconsulting.com. And there you'll see a couple of different links and you can book a demo. That demo will be with just myself and you. We'll be to sit down and talk about your organization, what your needs are, how many steps are within your process, and then we'll take it from there. I cannot wait to sit down and talk with you a little bit more. Take care.